Good afternoon, everyone. It's Karma Bass. I'm the President and CEO of Alliance Healthcare Foundation, and I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. You are logged on to our webinar where we're going to talk about the Innovation Initiative and walk through the process for applying for the $1 million grant that we are looking forward to awarding later this year to an agency that's going to help us improve access to care for the underserved in the greater San Diego region. This is the first webinar that we're doing on what we're calling our I2, and so we are using this technology in hopes that we can reach a broader array and also have less impact on your busy schedules. Before we start into the webinar itself, we want to just take advantage of the technology and ask you all a question. So I'm going to push a poll out to you, and a little bit for fun and a little bit just to give us a sense of where you all are at in terms of using this technology. You should see on your screen in just a moment a question of whether or not you've participated in any webinars before. And this is not relative to Alliance webinars, but just in general. Have you used this technology before? And so we're going to give you a few moments so you can respond. All right, looks like everybody has, everybody's almost responded, okay. All right, we're going to close the poll down, and we're going to let you see what the results are. So it looks like everybody, well, not everybody, but good proportion of you have used webinars before, so terrific. I'm glad, and I hope that this one, from a technology standpoint, will be a very smooth one as well. I hope that this will be information that is useful to you, and in order to ensure that we provide you with what you're looking to get out of this conversation we have with you this afternoon, we have set up a structure so that you can ask us questions. Here's kind of the overview of how we'll use the technology. We're going to conduct a couple of polls during the presentation, not too much. We don't want to have the technology be disruptive, but we also want to invite you to type in questions that you may have, and we will be addressing questions at the end of each presentation section. So if you have questions, feel free to type them in as we go along. We'll take the questions down, and then we'll answer them at the end of the section altogether. We aren't going to identify who's asking the question by name or organization, but we are going to repeat the question to the entire audience. So if there's questions that you have that are specific to the particular project you're thinking of, or just questions you don't want us to discuss with the entire group, feel free to contact Erica Osborne after the presentation for that question conversation privately. To make sure that we can get through the materials we've got planned today, we do have all of the attendees muted, so you can feel free to talk in your office and we won't be able to hear you. You won't be interrupting our conversation. And again, if there's something that you want to talk to us about one-on-one, feel free to contact us following the presentation. We'd like to take a moment, again, as we get started here, to know who is on the call with us. And so we're going to push out one more poll to you. If you would please take a look at your screen here just a moment as we ask you this question. And we want to know the primary sector that you're from. I know many of you could identify as being from multiple sectors, but which one is the primary one that you would identify yourself with? Please take a moment and respond to our poll, and I'll give you a moment to answer that. Very interesting. I'm looking at some preliminary results. I think we're going to close the poll here in a moment, and we'll share with you back what your colleagues on the call with you have showed us. So here you can see, I believe you can see the results now. Nothing too surprising, but interesting nonetheless. All right. I think we've got the technology well underway, and so I'm going to start now with the agenda of our call itself. We have identified 5 sections for the hour and a half that we have with you today. And as you'll see here, this is what we're going to walk you through. First, I'm going to provide an overview of the Innovation Initiative itself, kind of Alliance background and how we got to where we're at now. Many of you I know are familiar with Alliance, and so some of this will be a review to begin with. Then we're going to walk through what the grant guidelines are for the Innovation Initiative itself, and I'm going to invite my colleague Jennifer James, who is the Vice President of Community Research at Harder & Company, and she's going to walk through the grant guidelines for you. Then we're going to walk through the application process. I will talk to you about that, and that's essentially telling you about the timeline that we're planning for the Innovation Initiative this summer. Lastly, second to the last, we're going to do a tutorial through our online letter of intent process, because we are using an online system, and we wanted to give you some screenshots and walk you through exactly how you're going to go about doing that if you choose to apply. And then lastly, we'll close up with question and answer. I do want to remind you that we welcome questions and answers throughout, so feel free to type in a question for us. And with no further ado, let's get started talking about the Innovation Initiative. I know that many of you on the call with us are well familiar with Alliance, and I want to thank you for your long-standing partnership with us. For those who may be less familiar with Alliance Healthcare Foundation, I want to provide you with a brief background on how we came to be offering the Innovation Initiative, which is our $1 million grant. And what we're offering essentially is up to $1 million worth of funding over a period of time up to 3 years. And we're referring to this as our I-2. Alliance Healthcare Foundation has been serving the greater San Diego and Imperial County region since 1989, when we were formed as an operating foundation associated with a not-for-profits workers' comp company called CCN. When CCN was sold in the mid-1990s, Alliance was spun off as an independent private foundation. Right now we have an endowment of about $60 million that we make about $2 million worth of grants into the community each year. In 2009, just at the beginning of last calendar year, we launched a new strategic direction for Alliance, focusing on access to care, which I'll be walking you through in a few minutes. We have regular grant cycles in addition to the I-2 that we offer in the spring and the fall, where we fund projects anywhere from $25,000 up to $200,000 or $300,000 through those cycles. So we've got a fall cycle and a spring cycle that we do regular grant making. The I-2 is distinct from those, and this is a special thing we've never offered before, and we decided to do it this year because there is so much doom and gloom in the community right now. The economic downturn has hit folks so hard, and we do have our new strategic direction that we really wanted to generate some excitement around. We wanted to find a way to bring some of the truly innovative ideas to the forefront and give people something positive to plan for, as opposed to, which I know many organizations are in the very real process of just trying to keep their doors open. So this is intended to be something to provide some light and some excitement in the community. As we know, for those of you who are steeped in the healthcare industry, it's no secret that our industry is sorely behind others when it comes to the adoption of useful technology to improve efficiencies and to improve the provision of care. It's also no secret that our healthcare delivery system is sorely broken. We know that there's healthcare reform that is going to be rolling out over the next few years, and we know there's an opportunity there. But even before we knew that was a certainty, in our strategic planning at AHF, we considered how could we stimulate the generation of novel approaches to addressing the issues. You know, we discussed what the X Prize Foundation had done with their $10 million prize, where they were trying to stimulate excitement and interest in developing the commercial space travel sector. And so we decided that we wanted to do something similar in San Diego to stimulate new and interest